By virtue of the powers vested in me, I hereby constitute this gathering, a gathering of Cornerstone Institute for the awarding of degrees and certificates. Shall we pray? Lord, as we seek your blessing on this gathering, we do so with the awareness that you are the source of all goodness, all wisdom, and all our strength. Thank you, Lord, for your grace and all your provision. Thank you also for the privilege we have this morning to gather in this way as a Cornerstone community to recognize and celebrate achievement. We thank you, Lord, for the wonderful gifts and talents you have bestowed on the Cornerstone people, teachers and students alike. But we remind ourselves that we do not only celebrate individual and personal success today, but we bear in mind that you have called us into significance. That is a desire not just to further our own interests, but acknowledge that you have given us this opportunity so that we can use our gifts and talents and qualifications to benefit and advance the interests of others, and so build a better country and indeed a better world. We want to acknowledge also not only those who will receive their degrees and certificates today, but we thank you particularly for all those who walked with them over the many months and years and stood by them and helped them to persevere when at times they felt like giving up. We thank you for those who helped them find the right balance between work, family, and studies. We thank you for parents and spouses and partners and funders and all those staff and academics and the council at Cornerstone who have given so much of themselves. Thank you, Lord, for your presence here with us today and for your blessings on all the proceedings. Amen.
Welcome, everyone, and good morning. It's truly a special moment for me to be standing in front of you for the sixth time in my tenure as CEO, to welcome you and to introduce you to some of the participants in our program. By the way, I ask you to refer to our graduation program, which can be found on the website at cornerstone.ac.za/graduation 2020. It will also be displayed as a banner on your screen. It is particularly heartwarming for me to be able to be doing this on the occasion of our 50th anniversary. Although we've been around for so long, it is amazing how many new things we had to initiate this year, including this very first virtual graduation ceremony. For Cornerstone Institute, the year 2020 will forever remain etched in our hearts, minds, and psyches, not only because of how we were forced to respond to the global COVID-19 pandemic, how we stepped up to find solutions to very complex situations as we consistently worked to ensure the health and safety of our people, and how we managed to complete the academic year without having to change any dates on the academic calendar. But more so, because in the midst of what could have been disastrous for us, we proved that as a collective, we can overcome what seemingly are insurmountable challenges. I have never witnessed such coming together of the Cornerstone community, especially our staff, faculty, and students, to the extent that I have witnessed teamwork in its true form that I have in these past 7 months. With the backing of our chairperson, Marcel Golding, we weathered the storm, and today we are able to celebrate a graduation ceremony for our students right on schedule, albeit in a different mode. And for this, I am extremely grateful. We have indeed survived and thrived. Before I continue, I would like to acknowledge the role of our Executive Dean, the Reverend Dr. Roggebaai, who due to unforeseen circumstances could not be here today. The graduation ceremony means a lot to him, I know, and this message that he sent, especially for us today, says it all.
Good morning, everyone. What a wonderful day. it is an absolute proud moment to celebrate this day with you, our graduates, their families, and our community at large. You know, it's a proud moment. It's an achievement to during this year when all the world, all humanity struggles with a new moment, a new epoch in our history, with new challenges. When everything, you know, tells you to be discouraged, to stick to your studies and graduate. Congratulations, you're an inspiration. On behalf of our faculty leadership team, all our lecturers, well done. Chairperson of the board, Mr. Golding, President Professor Volmink, and our CEO, Mr. Daniels, please allow me to briefly outline the graduation symbols. Now, if I could just draw your attention to the graduation booklet, we will describe all the symbols. Now, this is important because the graduation is the pinnacle event of any university, where you actually celebrate the success of the knowledge work and the project to continue to build new knowledge. And so the symbols that we use to illustrate that matters. So what we do at Cornerstone is to balance the more traditional Western-styled symbols that around the world will be recognized as a graduation. And we balance that with our own localized African symbols of being a community. And so what you'll find in the international sort of context is the procession that enters, the formal gowns and regalia worn by office bearers, the president that constitutes the assembly or the congregation and later dissolves it. The capping, by the president that you graduated, to be, and all these things together, will resemble what you find comparatively around the world. But then you also, as you will read in the booklet, you will note that we started the graduation with the blowing of a kudu horn, which resembles our traditional sort of history, where the kudu horn will bring a community together for an important event. You'll note that the seats are draped with African antelope skin of the most senior office bearers, which resemble the traditional role of those skins of chieftainship and guiding and mentorship of a community. Then you'll also see that we arranged the seats on the stage in a half moon rather than the sort of the lines of the Western style graduation. Now that illustrates that we're a community of scholarship. And so that when a student will graduate, they will enter from one side of the half moon, where the name will be read, and they walk through the leadership to the center where the president will cap them, and they'll then leave the half moon through the other side where they'll be draped. And that illustrates how you move through the community, recognized and joining the scholarship community. A last important symbol is that you will hear that in Nkosi Sikelel' Africa, the prayer of Africa, composed by Enoch Sitonga, in actual fact forms part of the procession, where we actually pray for Africa and for its people and for our future. And this forms part of our deep understanding of spirituality as core to who we are, not only as an institution, but as an African people. So congratulations. Thank you very much for joining our community. We wish you well in your life, going forward. We wish you well with your profession. And we look forward to engaging with you with new knowledge, what you discover and what you can teach us about the world. Congratulations. We wish you well and all blessings. Thank you.
In addition, we are missing the presence of our head of department of Student and Development Services. I'm very pleased that Beverly Dankers has sent us this short message in her usual endearing and nurturing style.
There are so many of you graduating today, and to think just the other day you were a part of orientation, and that's where our journey began. I want to say on behalf of our team, the support team at Cornerstone, that it has been a privilege and a joy walking alongside you through the 2-3 years, for however long you've been studying with us, and that just you allowing us to be there to assist you and support you has been an honor. So I just want to say everything of the best to you, and well done for finishing this race. All of the best. Congratulations.
Thank you, Rudy and Beverly. We do appreciate all that you do for Cornerstone, especially for and with our students. We take comfort in the fact that you're watching the ceremony today, dressed in your best Sunday gear, as we can all see. Today we commemorate our great leader, Nelson Mandela, whose 7th anniversary of his passing is observed today. It was Madiba who said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." The application of this way of thinking has brought us together today to celebrate our students who are graduating. How many of us thought that given the challenges of 2020, that this would never happen? How many of you have not experienced moments of doubt at some or other points in your life? But look at you. You've done it. Congratulations to the class of 2020. Your tenacity, sheer resolve, determination, and constant application brought you to this point today. Your loved ones who are able to share that experience with you are basking in the rays of your successes and probably have not experienced a prouder day. It is on the shoulders of especially our parents, siblings, friends, and guardians that our graduates were able to cross the finish line. We know that without the support of those around us, who take care of us and give us of their love, that we gain what it takes to get to that finish line. Even though sometimes the finish line seems very, very far away. To mark the 50th anniversary, we are very proud to unveil our new crest. A detailed explanation of the symbolism of this crest can be found in the graduation program that is, as I indicated, available on our website. This is truly a significant moment in our ongoing journey of hope. And I ask you to study the meaning of every aspect of this new coat of arms of our institution, including the Nama translation, the book, the sheets of wheat, the bowl, the flames, the banner, and the year of our establishment. Those of you who are graduating today will receive certificates that are embellished with our new crest. You will be able to proudly announce to the world that you were the first recipients of awards where this new crest appears. I am sure that you are waiting with great anticipation for your name to be announced on this roll of honor. So let me get on with the proceedings. I have the honor to introduce you to our esteemed guest speaker today. Dr. Franklin Sonn is widely regarded as one of the stalwarts in the fight against apartheid education, as a member of a generation of leaders for freedom, which includes President Nelson Mandela and others. Dr. Sonn was born on the 11th of October 1939 in Vosburg in the Karoo. He grew up in Queenstown in the Eastern Cape and later in Cape Town. His parents were educated with a long record of active involvement in public affairs. He completed a BA degree and BA honors at the University of the Western Cape during the 1960s. As the first senior leadership role in education, Dr. Sonn, at the age of 30, was appointed as principal of Silverstream High School in Manenberg, and thereafter at Spesbona High School, which grew into one of the most prestigious schools in Cape Town. He formed the Cape Professional Teachers Association and served as its president, as he also did for the Union of Teachers Associations of South Africa, positions he held for 15 years. In 1978, he became director of Peninsula Technikon. In 1995, President Nelson Mandela appointed Dr. Sonn as Democratic South Africa's first ambassador to the United States of America. Upon his return, he continued his leadership contributions in business and education, notably, amongst others, as Chancellor of the University of the Free State. Here he played a key role to appoint the first black rector of the institution in 2009. Dr. Son, throughout his career, was recognized with honorary doctorates from numerous local and international higher education institutions, among them Howard University in Washington and the City University of New York. He also received prestigious local, provincial, and national awards, including a Special Order of Distinction from the Mayor of the City of Cape Town, the Order of the Kaiser, which is the highest award of the Western Cape. And in 2006, he received the National Order of the Baobab. Dr. Franklin Son is married to Joan Gelderboom, and they have two children, Crispin and Heather, who are prominent leaders in business, banking, and investment. Let's hear what he has to share with us today.
What a wonderful day. I am so happy to be part of this day for a whole host of reasons. The one outstanding one is that, Cornerstone is a visionary thought, an inspired thought by Marcel Golding, who put, out of conviction, resources, his own energy and his own enormous intelligence behind this project, something that he wanted to build, and that's a university, mainly for those people who normally wouldn't get access to a university. And that really was something that burnt in his stomach. I'm so proud of Marcel Golding, who I consider to be one of my best friends. And then, not to forget John Volmink, coincidentally also somebody whom I rate very highly, your Chancellor. I think that's what he's called. If he isn't, I now make him Chancellor, who I'm a friend with, a spiritual friend, a colleague, and somebody I regard very highly. Now, today we have the next generation, our graduates as they call it, but what's most important is the people that Cornerstone delivered. The chicks that was delivered by the hen. And we're very proud of you, and we're very proud to be associated with you, and to have your parents here, and to have the community here. I spoke to one mother the other night, and she said to me, "Oh, Cornerstone, that's a university that gives our child an opportunity." And that I'm so proud to be associated with. Now, what am I going to say that's of more note than I've just said? I once sat in a darkening room with, at that time, probably one of the icons of business and of South Africa, called Harry Oppenheimer. And my question to him was, "Mr. Oppenheimer," everybody called him Mr. Oppenheimer, "Mr. Oppenheimer, tell me, when you hire and prepare people for your company, what are the kind of people that you would look for? Would you look for chartered accountants? What kind of person?" He says, "No, I want bright, sparklingly bright young people," at that time obviously young men, "whom I want to be trained at Oxford University in 3 disciplines, only 3, philosophy, politics, and economics." And he says, if you have that, and you're bright, and you're ambitious, then as far as Anglo-American and the BS is concerned, sky's your limit. And I often carried that with me and thought about that, and that is actually what he referred to is, how do you develop people? Not how you skill them, not how you teach them how to use a computer or use a screwdriver. You teach them to be a complete human being. Philosophy, I think he meant by that, is the entire human being, the human spirit, the imagination, the idea individual, the person who are inspirable and then can use those qualities to combine it into an inner faith, an inner belief, an inner conviction, as to use the best English word to describe this, to develop integrity of soul, spirit, skills, to be a true human being. Taking me back to something I've read somewhere, that the first president of the first university in the United States of America, Harvard, was a religious university, John Wilming, called Harvard University. And here this priest, the head of Harvard, sat in his office with a clean table. And somebody came to him and says, what is the job of a vice-chancellor or, say, a president, C.O. Daniels? He said, to think. And he says, what's the most important matter to deliver? He said, essere humano, to create human beings. Now, Mr. Oppenheimer's reference to philosophy was to be a human being. Essere humano in Latin, to be human. And the second one is politics, he said. He said, well, why politics? That's a dirty word. Nobody these days wants to be associated with the word politics, because politics have become really, in the common eye, the terrain of the scoundrels. And so what would he have meant by politics? He meant the ability to organize people, to give people a vision, to share insight, to bring them together in a common purpose, and to build unity and individuals together. And that's a tough job. One could say, CEO Daniels, what would I say to you? What is your most important task? It's not to be a politician, to get people around your philosophy, your outlook, combined to Marcel's and John's and Rudy and all those good people who are working for you, and to do that successfully. Thirdly, economics, he said, because everything is economics. You know who the best economics in the world are? The big economists in the world are our mothers. Fathers, or the mother too, bring a meager amount of money to the table, and with that money, she must provide. She must make sure there's everything for everybody, every day. And that describes economics. You can use any other highfalutin terms, but this is what it is. And to be able to manufacture, to create, to market, and to sell, and to have an income with and by which you could feed the family or the nation. And that was Mr. Oppenheimer's insight, and I always shared that. And one of the most important aspects is imagination, to develop people. And young people never stop imagining. People say dream, but it's imagine. Imagination leads to ideas, it leads to concrete thought, it leads to production, it leads to something that you can sell. Today there's a big emphasis on maths and science, and I joined that. I say it's true. But maths and science, as Mr. Oppenheimer said me in that darkening room, he says, man, chartered accountants I hire, but I want PPE people, human beings. And my trust is, as you go into the world, to be true human beings. And my trust is that what you gained from Cornerstone, emanating from the vision of great people that I refer to, is that you go off as human beings, leaders, people that can take the world forward. And if you say to me, what is that one of the things that I warn you against? Because at my age, I'm entitled to warn people. It's not enough not to be corrupt. It's not enough. What you must be is be incorruptible. People must know there's no point in tempting a student of Cornerstone because he will decline. Don't once be. Well, if you corrupt once, you are corrupt. And often you get the opportunity to want to buy off the traffic cop, to make a quick break, even to go and gamble the money that is required for the household. That's corrupt. Keep your souls clean, keep your minds bright, retain your intelligence, and continue to have a vision in life. And bear in mind that for all the intelligence of the world, all the brightness of the world, there is a spirit behind it all. I call it God, others call it Mother Nature. And we are experiencing this in the world right now. We think we're so clever, we've achieved so much, we go to the moon and back, but then a virus arrives on the scene and stops us all in the tracks. Then all of a sudden, floods come, fires come, and then we realize that, thank God we're not alone in this world, but there's a spirit behind it all, and part of that spirit is in you. So keep that spirit alive. May the future be wonderful. May you carry all these thoughts and ideas that I believe is the genesis of this new university, to keep that, to be part of that, and to keep that alive in your spirit and in your soul. And one day when you teach or when you have children, to know what were the fundamentals that you took away from Cornerstone, and carry that over to them as well. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Son, for those inspiring words. Next, I would like to introduce you to a beautiful vocalist and composer who happens to be a student at Cornerstone. Misha Jacobs will also be serving on the 2021 SRC. She tells me that she always dreamt of singing her own songs on a big stage, and today she has that opportunity. Misha will be followed by the elected student representative speaker, Mary McAllister, who will be sharing with us how this day is the day that the dream of graduating has come true, not only for her, but for all our graduates. I thank every single one of you participating in this virtual graduation ceremony for your ongoing contribution to the realization of this dream. Thank you very much.
Slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile. But then if you're so smart, then tell me, why are you still so afraid? Where's the fire? What's the hurry about? You better cool it off before you burn it out. You got so much to do and only so many hours in a day. Hey, but you know that when the truth is told, that you can get what you want or you can just get old. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. When will you realize Vienna waits for you? Slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you wanna be before your time. Although it's so romantic on the borderline tonight. Well, too bad, but it's the life you lead. You're so ahead of yourself that you forgot what you need. Though you can see when you're wrong, you know you can't always see when you're right. You're right. You've got your passion, you've got your pride, but don't you know that only fools are satisfied? And dream on, but don't imagine they'll all come true. When will you realize Vienna waits for you? Child, take the phone off the hook and disappear for a while. It's alright, you can't afford to lose a day or two. When will you realize You can get what you want, or you can just get old. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Why don't you realize the end awaits you? When will you realize the end awaits you?
Good day to you all, and thank you for the privilege of being able to address you on behalf of the graduating class of 2020. In alignment with Cornerstone's vision statement, Learn to Change the World, President Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." As I reflect on what it means to be a graduate in the class of 2020, I have a huge sense of gratitude for the gift of education. So on behalf of all graduating students, I express a heartfelt thank you to those at Cornerstone Institute for making that possible, each in his or her own invaluable way. Our CEO, Mr. Noel Daniels, the Chairman of the Board, Mr. Marcel Golding, the board members of Cornerstone Institute, our Dean, Dr. Rudy Bays, the faculty and administrative and supporting staff, the SRC, fellow students and our families and friends. Your hard work and support provided the foundation on which this graduating class built their success. Every student who has the courage to embark on tertiary education is to be commended. But those who did so or continued with their studies during this global COVID-19 pandemic and persevered to achieve the goal of graduating deserve additional credit. We are also very grateful to Cornerstone for the decisive and immediate transition executed in March when the country went into lockdown. Flexibility, tenacity, and patience were needed for on-campus students and lecturers to suddenly switch to remote learning and for online students to remain motivated. To quote one of our lecturers, this transition confirmed that the quality of the relationships we build with our students is not limited to physical proximity. Relationships are built on connection and a willingness on the part of both the student and lecturer to be vulnerable and teachable. These reflections remind me of 3 attributes essential for academic success, which this graduating class demonstrated. The first is attitude. Without a humble, positive, open-minded, and open-hearted attitude, learning will be limited. The second is application. This is only achieved by a determination to work hard and never give up wrestling with inevitable challenges. All the brains in the world are no substitute to applying oneself consistently. The third is achievement. Each small academic achievement along the way produces more confidence and encouragement and a hunger to achieve more. All of us graduates here today have reached our goals by growing in these attributes. In talking to some of those graduating today, they recall starting out feeling intimidated by the journey. Fellow students, many of you had to overcome challenges of work and family obligations to even show up for class, either in person or online, and to get assignments and studying done. My utmost admiration goes out to you. You didn't make excuses. You made it work. Some of us have also reminded me of classes when the more mature in age amongst us would sit together, sharing snacks, giggling, and detracting reprimands. But it was fun to be a kid again, though. We could not have arrived at this point today without the friendships formed, learning, listening, and questioning together, but more importantly, without supporting and accepting our differences. My peers have shared that when you have common goals and a desire to do well, the academic playing field becomes level. Staying connected was key for many of us via various WhatsApp groups, receiving not only information, but loving, caring, funny, supportive encouragement. This, along with Student Services caring weekly check-ins, strengthens our emotional and mental well-being. In conclusion, I want to give special thanks to our lecturers. In addition to giving and expecting excellence, several showed care and concern for the student as a whole person. Also, to the Student Services team, your support is outstanding. And to fellow students, I cherish, as I'm sure you do too, the friendships built, wisdom shared, the support received and given, and the humour amongst some that kept us sane. Class of 2020, I am so proud of us. Many congratulations to all.
Good morning. At this time, we would like to take a moment to honor the memory of one of our 2020 Community Development graduating students, Jonathan Brankies, who early this year passed away due to illness. Our thoughts are with his family, his friends, and his fellow classmates this morning, and I ask that we now observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Mr. President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed the program requirements and have fulfilled all the conditions as accepted by the Board of Directors, the Academic Office, our accrediting bodies, and the Senate, which now enables the candidates to be awarded the following certificates in absentia. Our SRC President for 2020, Sister Lydia Mwaura, will be representing the conferment of all students for each qualification. We begin with the highest certificate in community counseling. Deirdre Joy Isaacs, with distinction. Mary McAllister, with distinction. Asandiswa Mbawahuli, Alton Andrew Splinter, top student in the program and with distinction. Mishke Shante van der Westhuizen. The highest certificate in community development. This qualification is conferred for the first time, which is an honor for Cornerstone Institute. Evoldia Rens Gabriels. Let's applaud our graduates. Thank you. Mr. President, I present to you the following candidates who have successfully completed the program requirements and who fulfilled all the conditions as accepted by the Board of Directors, the Academic Office, our accrediting bodies, and the Senate, which now enables the candidates in absentia to be awarded the postgraduate certificate in education. The postgraduate certificate in education foundation phase teaching, Shadia Bianca Ugnotti with distinction. Manuela Barwise with distinction. Jody Batty. Gemma Lee Bryant. Natalie Robin Campbell with distinction. Hafsa Kasim. Syniad Chaperon. Amy Nyasa Clark Malloyd. Julie Ann Mary Kopinga with distinction. Angelique De Vos with distinction. Marika De Toy. Leseri Erasmus with distinction. Esther Erlach. Catherine Elizabeth Fenner. Kayla Grace Fernandez. Sky Ferreira with distinction. Catherine Alexander Flores, top student in the program and with distinction. Carol Ann Frey with distinction. Karen Lee Gabini with distinction. Robin Lisa Gordon. Sophia Heliopoulos with distinction. Anushka Hill. Jaden Shani Hanken with distinction. Samantha May Kingwell. Nicole Tamlin Kotze with distinction. Carla Simone Luciona with distinction. Deirdre Lynn Ludewijk. Sharon Lee Rebecca Meyer with distinction. Regina Molo. Karina Olivier. Jolene Papadopoulos. Yolinda Smith with distinction. Shanae Desiree Stander with distinction. Kirsten Jade Stoffberg. Nicola Swanepoel. Simone Swanepoel. Cherine van Niekerk with distinction. Shanae van Skalkwyk with distinction. Anel van Zyl with distinction. Samantha White. Marelli Willemse with distinction. Nobuhle Zondi. We now move on to the qualification for the higher certificate, for the postgraduate certificate in education, intermediate phase teaching. So for the postgraduate certificate in education, intermediate phase teaching, Michael John Abdul, Karen Lydia Agalis with distinction, Jadine Leverne America, Sasha Margaret Rose Andrews, Rebecca Antonucci with distinction, Jade Robin Bailey, Kate Elizabeth Balmuth with distinction, Coben Joanne Barnes, Pierre Hendrik Barnard, Kate Michelle Bishop, Roxanne Bodel with distinction, Sean Botha, Lana Teresa Chalenor, Jermaine Shumalderizia Christians, Bianca Cordier with distinction, Shane DeWet, Ethan Dominique Fortune, Ashley Jane Frankish with distinction, Timea Gilbert with distinction, Daniela Louisa Gounod with distinction, Sagri Gounden, Taryn Gray, Claire Eileen Grootboom, Johan Herbs, Marcella Erika Huber, Tsepang Felicia Itumeleng, Anel Jans van Rensburg with distinction, Philinette Napirira Kafutumva, Rele Bogile Kegalkilwa, Sian Elizabeth Kirby with distinction, Cherise Kruger, Raymond Charles Laundrie with distinction, Nicole Karen Lang with distinction, Krish Leroux with distinction, Clayton George Lazar, Dean James Lindhorst, Portia Mamato, Jade Taylor Matthew, Sintike Sindiswa Matieke, Yolanda Mhlakela Bushwana, Taryn Lauren Michaels, Brendan Jacobus Myberg with distinction, Tulile Patience Ngobise, Daniel Patrick Odo, 'n' 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 Samira Umar, Anka Oztunali, Chanel Palvi with distinction, Catherine Louise Parsons with distinction, Kirsten Lee Porter, Gerda Ilana Rademeyer with distinction, Nicole Kim Skippers with distinction, Crystal Sibonka, Shantae Louise Saylor, Alicia Veronica Shepherd, top student in program and with distinction, Danae Haley Sharnay with distinction, Lizanne Natalie Small, Brandon Andre Smith, Tanya Snyman, Robin Spratley with distinction, Marcus Thomas, Retabile Masaiso, Margaret Chabalala, Glenda Louise Untait, Giselle van der Wath with distinction, Madri Volskenk with distinction, Shantae Elaine Wellman, Nicole Clara Wiesorski with distinction, everyone, wherever you are, let's applaud our graduates. Please accept my apology. The last graduate receiving her certificate is Simone Ruth Zentz, and she receives it for the postgraduate certificate in education for intermediate phase. Thank you. Mr. President, I now request you to confer in absentia the Bachelor of Arts degree upon the following candidates who have successfully completed the program requirements and have fulfilled all the conditions of this qualification. The Bachelor of Arts.
I confer upon you and those represented by you the degree Bachelor of Arts.
For the Bachelor of Arts, Anthea Alice Dixon. Nathan Alexander Forer. Hugo Groenewald. Rees Jonathan Nijker. Wherever you are, let's applaud our graduates. Thank you. Mr. President, I now request you to confer the Bachelor of Theology in Community Leadership degree in absentia upon the following candidates who have successfully completed the program requirements and have fulfilled all the conditions of this qualification. The Bachelor of Theology in Community Leadership.
I confer upon those represented by you the degree Bachelor of Theology in Community Leadership.
For the Bachelor of Theology in Community Leadership, Monica Lagatsis, top student in the program. Let's applaud our graduate. Thank you. Mr. President, I now request you to confer the Bachelor of Arts Honours in Community Development degree in absentia upon the following candidates who have successfully completed the program requirements and has fulfilled all the conditions of this qualification. The Bachelor of Arts Honours in Community Development.
I confer upon those represented by you the degree Bachelor of Arts Honours in Community Development.
For the Bachelor of Arts Honours in Community Development, Uzair Adams, top student in the program and with distinction. Paula Wynne de Kock, with distinction. Tuli Mashabane, with distinction. Zama Peaceful Mbelele. Let's applaud our graduates. Thank you. Mr. President, I now request you to confer the Bachelor of Arts degree in absentia upon the following candidates who have successfully completed the program requirements and have fulfilled all the conditions of this qualification. The Bachelor of Arts Honours in Psychology, Academic.
I confer upon those represented by you the degree Bachelor of Arts Honours in Psychology, Academic.
For the Bachelor of Arts Honours in Psychology, Academic, Kayla Lee Calvert, top student in program and with distinction. Tracy Lee Dutlow, with distinction. Nicole George. Wania Kermis. Cedar Kumalo. Sepesihle Nomasonto Mhlanga. Rebecca Kate Mawa, with distinction. Jade Smith. Sesenele Pendulile Sukati. Let's applaud our graduates. Mr. President, I now request you to confer in absentia the Bachelor of Arts Honours in Psychology, B-Psych equivalent degree upon the following candidates who have successfully completed the program requirements and have fulfilled all the conditions of this qualification. The Bachelor of Arts Honours in Psychology, B-Psych equivalent.
I confer upon those represented by you the degree Bachelor of Arts Honours in Psychology, B-Psych equivalent.
For the Bachelor of Arts Honours in Psychology, B-Psych equivalent, Basil Eugene Arundel. Trudy Lee Barkhuizen, with distinction. Darian James Bonner. Nikita Jade Buerta, with distinction. Renee Buerta, with distinction. Suzanne Haley Brooks, with distinction. Kendall Adelaide Bynross, with distinction. Sarah Anna Dowling. Stacy Lynn Jacobs. Tharwit Julius. Kaylee Nicole Cantor, with distinction. Lauren Leroux. Munash Mawaro. Desiree Stone Velosa. Jessica Lee Ace. Let's applaud our graduates.
This year has been a particularly challenging one for both lecturers and students alike, due to the pandemic that we've all faced and all the adjustments that we needed to make So today I want to acknowledge all the dedicated and excellent lecturers who helped to bring the students to this point. We celebrate you. I also want to take the opportunity to introduce you to the faculty, the lecturing faculty of Cornerstone Institute for 2020. Firstly, the psychology department. Next is our education faculty. Our general education department. Media studies. We also have the Department of Ethics and Theology. And the Department of Business Studies. Next, we have the Sociology and the Community Development Department. It's now an opportunity for me to, and quite a privilege, to introduce this year's Cornerstone Institute Teaching Award. This teaching award recognizes excellence in teaching and learning to realize the mission of Cornerstone and promote the values of the institution. They are awarded annually to both full-time and adjunct lecturers who are eligible for the awards, with the awards made for both contact, campus, and distance online teaching. The panel considers nominations in terms of teaching and learning outcomes that realizes graduate attributes for human dignity and social justice, transforms lives with deep care, and employ current scholarly sound methods. For 2020, the following awards are made. For the distance mode, the winner of this year's teaching award is Frances Vessels from the Education Department, and we want to congratulate her. The following commendations are also made to Anal Kutsi from the Education Department, to Precious from the Education Department, and to Dave Smith from the Ethics Theology Department. Congratulations to all of you for work well done. The second category is our contact mode, and I would like to announce this year's winner for the Teaching Award for 2020. It is Leo Mapera from the Sociology and the Community Development Department. We'd like to congratulate him. The following commendations have also been made for excellent teaching to Taryn Little from the Psychology Department, to Renee Ngweni from the Education Department, Sociology and Community Development Department, and to our very own Shireen Orphan from the General Education Department. Congratulations to all of you. Mr. President, Chairperson of the Board, esteemed colleagues, graduates, and invited guests, it's also my privilege today to present the Academic Merit Awards for 2020. As indicated in the program, the awards is given to the best academic achieving graduate that during the course of his study or her study as a Cornerstone achieve the highest academic standard. In order to be eligible for the award, a student must have completed the qualification in a maximum of 1 year more than the minimum amount of the time required for the program. An award is presented separately in each category: the higher certificate qualification, the undergraduate qualification, and the postgraduate qualification. Each person gets a separate award. So I'm proud to announce today that for the highest certificate qualification, the student who receives this award for academic merit, for the highest academic merit, is Alton Andrew Splinter from the Higher Certificate in Community Counseling. We'd like to congratulate him. Our next category is the undergraduate qualification. So from the Bachelor of Arts, we have the winner being Jenna Elizabeth Chetty, achieving the highest academic qualification. For our postgraduate qualification, the award goes to Martha Elizabeth Huison from the B-Psych equivalent program. Congratulations to all of you for excellent academic achievement. We'd now like to call our chairperson of the board to make the next award.
Mr. President, it's my distinct honor to make the award called the Against All Odds Award to the student in recognizing a graduate student who overcame unusual and extenuating circumstances. The student against all odds was determined to reach her goal, his or her goal, and despite obstacles remained a Cornerstone student, continued to pass and successfully complete their program of study. The criteria for the award are courage and determination, integrity, and good standing in the Cornerstone community. This year, the award Against All Odds for 2020 goes to Ronique Wilson.
For the President's Award, the faculty, staff, and students together nominate and decide on the student who receives the President's Award. That has to be a student who best represents Cornerstone's core values. And while the candidate may not be necessarily the top academic performer, she or he must possess all the attributes we celebrate as a community. Therefore, the award is made to a final year student who has shown consistency of character, was actively involved in the broader community, supported fellow students, and demonstrated academic excellence, and is spiritually, socially, and academically well-rounded. It is now my pleasure to announce that the Cornerstone's President's Award for 2020 goes to no other than Sister Lydia Muar. You just stand there for a minute. Yeah, just there. Since Sister Lydia worked so hard today, she, on behalf of all the students, received their degrees and certificates. I would just add a bit of extra information that Sister Lydia was the SRC president for 2020. She is from Kenya, and she has led her team and served the student body with her whole heart. She has lived out the core values of Cornerstone in its very essence. Students speak highly and positively about the influence Sister Lydia has been in their lives. Her character has been consistent, and she was involved with students throughout the 3 years of her studies. Even though she struggled with her health, sometimes she persevered and still supported her fellow students and her peers. Sister Lydia, thank you very much once again. We will have an award for you. That'll come a bit later. Thank you.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be a storm. Hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm, it's a golden sky and the sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, without opinion, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
I would like to take this opportunity just to give a vote of appreciation and thanks. Firstly, to our honorable guests, I would like to thank you for joining us today at this virtual graduation ceremony to celebrate the achievements of your friends and loved ones. Secondly, I would like to thank Pelo for reminding our graduates to the rendition of his song, Dream and Not Be Afraid, because we are never alone. Thank you so much for this wonderful rendition. I would also like to thank our keynote speaker, Dr. Franklin Son, for so kindly addressing our students and encouraging them from his home in George. Thank you to our president, our chairman of the board members, the CEO, management team, the faculty and staff of Cornerstone, who played such an important role in today's success. Today could not have taken place without each of your efforts. Tulikani Plakis, thank you for being with us today and for calling all of us together as a community through the horn blowing. I would also like to thank our third-year student, Misha, for allowing us to showcase her talent through the singing of Vihenna by Billy Joel. To Eastern Acoustics, thank you for making this virtual ceremony possible by allowing us to use the studio and to ensuring that our lighting and sound is as it needs to be. To Greg, who worked behind the scenes, we want to thank you as well. Then to our funders, our parents, the spouses, the friends, and those who supported our graduates, who helped them to make this dream possible. For some of our students, thank you so much. Thank you to the graduation committee. And finally, congratulations to our graduates. Well done. Thank you.
Could we please rise and stand wherever we are in our homes and here at the studios during the ceremony for the singing of the national anthem? Thank you.
Kosi sikeleli Afrika, malupagani supondolwayo, izwa imitandazo yetu. Kosi sikelela tina lusapolwayo, murena buluka sechaba sa Yesu, ufedise dintwale matwenyeho usibuluke sichabasa Yesu sichabasa South Africa Uit die blauw van onze hemel, uit die diepte van ons zee, oor ons eeuwige gebergtes, waar die kranse antwoord gee. Sounds a call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Please remain standing while our President dissolves this congregation that we've all participated in. And at the end of the procession, we ask you to join us in celebration together in dance and movement and well wishes to the song of Jerusalema. But first, the dissolution of our congregation by our President.
By the powers vested in me, I hereby dissolve this gathering as a gathering of Cornerstone Institute for the purposes of degrees and certificates. Thank you.
Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. awukholana